Hare Krishna, Namaste. So we welcome today you for our second day of the seminar, and today's title is terrace farming. So yesterday we learned about composting. It's a past part of waste management, and there were many questions and queries thrown at the while the seminar was going on. So what I will do today, that today I will take some of the questions, common questions that you thrown to me yesterday, and then we will move to terrace farming. Okay, so let's begin. Someone had asked yesterday that can spoiled food go into compost heap? The answer is yes. Anything we anything organic that may be eaten by some living entity can be composted. So spoiled food can definitely go into compost bin, but there is an asterisk. That means conditions apply. Initially, for the beginners, try to avoid spoiled food because there might be some insects coming in and you may not be able to handle them properly. So better let first or second batch of compost be finished, and then from the third batch you are allowed to put your spoiled food. Even liquid spoiled food can go into compost bin. But remember that any liquid spoiled food will require equal amount of or maybe little more amount of dry waste to compensate the liquid component. So spoiled food can go inside definitely, but from the third batch. On the same line, someone had asked that can non-veg vegetarian leftovers can be put into the compost bin, and again the answer is same. Yes, you can put, but wait for the third batch of compost, then it is allowed. On the same line, again the question comes, will the milk item, spoiled milk item can go into compost bin? Yes, it can go. It's a liquid or maybe little semi-liquid kind of stuff, milk product that can go inside, but from the third batch. Someone has asked that the paper or maybe the cardboard that is a part of a dry waste, and it may contain chemicals. You know, newspaper has inks, and inks always had chemicals, and the paper also has some plastic tapes and all that. Cardboard has some plastic tapes and all that. So first you remove whatever chemical component you can see, like plastic tapes or any metal, that is a stapler pin. You remove that and you cut them into finer pieces, dip them in water, and then you can put into your compost bin as dry waste. And remember one thing, that microbes are very strong. They can absorb little bit of chemical here and there. Like I will give you an example. Any NRI, non-resident Indian, when they come to India, they don't prefer to drink our tap water because of some fear of getting infection with some disease, right? But we Indians, we are accustomed to drink not so clean water, probably not so clean water, little bit of contaminated water, and in any part of India we can easily drink that and nothing happens to us. Same way, you can feed your microbes with little bit of chemical or any non-organic stuff. That's not a problem. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the ink of the newspaper, and don't worry about the chemically treated component of sawdust or cardboard. They can definitely go into compost bin as dry waste. Another question was that how to tackle foul smell. Again, the answer I yesterday also I spoke on it. Foul smell basically comes from not maintaining the proper ratio of dry and green waste and not maintaining the proper moisture content. Again, I am saying your compost heat, if it tilts toward little dryness, it's okay, but if it is more moist than required, then it will create a foul smell. Somebody had asked that citrus fruits like oranges and lemons and musambi, all that stuff, or maybe garlic and onion peels, if you put them in your compost bin, they are a lot of acidic in nature, then your compost will be more on acidic side. So is it okay to put? My answer is yes, it is perfectly okay. Do not worry about acidic component of your compost. It can be taken care of, and I actually don't worry. In my experience, I always put onion and not onion but lemon and oranges peel into the compost bin, and it works perfectly. Someone had asked that can Havan ingredients can be sprinkled on a plant? Yes, you can, provided there is no chemical. If you lit a agarbatti, it has a lot of chemical component. Then if you pour it or maybe sprinkle it on your plant, then the leaf porousness might get choked up and photosynthesis may not happen properly, so your plant will suffer. But if you have a gobar dhoop and any other ingredients, if you are purely organic in nature, and then if you put on your leaf, then it is okay, not a problem. But do not do it regularly, like watering every day, right? Once in 15 days is okay, but don't overdo it. Okay. So now the question part is over, and now we begin our terrace farming. But before that, yesterday I promised that I will show you a small video on what type of compost we are making on our farm. So there is a 1 minute video, and we will just see that, and later we will move on to the terrace farming stuff.
दूसरा हजामपट्टी बच जाता
थोड़ा और डाल दे नहीं ठीक है चलेगा चलेगा चलेगा
हाँ लेके
वजन 2 किलो ही खाली देना इसमें आ जाएगा
So this is our compost heap. We made it a month ago. Now it's almost ready. We are making compost with a method called Berkeley method. It's just 18-day process if you follow it perfectly. But we just delayed the process, so it's about a month. But it's almost ready. Now there are 3 ingredients to make this cow dung, this compost heap. So number 1 is like this brown waste. It's a carbon, pure carbon, brown waste. And the other ingredients is nitrogen, that is green waste. You can see here we have lots of green waste. We have just harvested groundnuts, so all the leftover are here. And the third ingredient is cow dung. We have 8 cows here in the cow shed. So we get lot of cow dung. So that we keep here. We pile everything layer by layer, 5 to 6 layer of 3 ingredients. And we turn the heap every alternate day. Though the timetable was not followed here properly, but at least 4-5 days or a week we are turning it. So it's a month, and now you see it's almost over. It's lot of heat inside. Once you turn it, you can feel a lot of heat inside. So it's a sign of a living compost. Now probably in a week's times we shall use it in our farm.
So we saw 2 videos. In the first video, we have tried to show that how the compost bin on the farm can be made, and after doing the full process of 18 days, how the finished product looks. So there was a third process also. Yesterday I explained to you about it, and that was running chickens hens over the finished compost. So that we couldn't capture because we were not there at that time. But the finished product I will show you in some time. I have it with me here. So I will show you the finished compost made on the farm and what we are growing on it. That I will show it to you in some time. But now we are coming to the terrace farming topic, and I want you to see the end result. If you do the terrace farming or balcony farming or window farming perfectly, what are the possibilities and what are the results you can achieve? That I will show it show it to you in a 5-minute YouTube video. There is one very successful terrace farmer in Nashik in Maharashtra, and I am very much inspired by this man, and you see by yourself. Let's go.
इस्तेमाल यानी सफाई, और फिर ऐसी सफाई से ताज़ी हरी पौष्टिक सब्जियां मिले तो क्या कहना। महाराष्ट्र के नासिक शहर में रहने वाले संदीप चौहान, वैसे तो उन्हें खेती करने की इच्छा थी, पर शहर में खेती लाए कहाँ से, तो अपने ही घर के छत पर बरामदे में उन्होंने यह सब्जियों का बगीचा खड़ा किया। इस बगीचे की खास बात यह है कि यहाँ पे बाहर से खरीदी गई चीज़ें ना के बराबर है। स्क्रैप में मिलने वाले विभिन्न चीज़ों का इस्तेमाल तथा किचन वेस्ट पत्तों फूलों का उपयोग कर यह बगीचा खिला है। स्क्रैप में मिलने वाली बोरियां, टोकरी, प्लास्टिक के ड्रम, टीन के डब्बे, टूटे हुए मटके तथा प्लास्टिक के थैलियों का इस्तेमाल कर यहाँ पे सब्जियाँ उगाई जाती हैं। इन सब में मिट्टी का बहुत कम इस्तेमाल होता है। कूड़े कचरे के जैविक पदार्थ को केंचुओं की मदद से समृद्ध मिट्टी बनाकर उसमें अच्छी उपज लेना, यह उनकी तकनीक है। ऐसी फलों की टोकरी लेकर उसको पुरानी साड़ी के कपड़े से लपेटा जाता है या फिर कोई बोरा लिया जाता है, और फिर उसमें गन्ने का बग्यास, नारियल के छिलके, पत्ते, फूल या सूखे किचन वेस्ट से भर दिया जाता है। फिर उस पर जैविक पदार्थों के विघटन से बनी थोड़ी मिट्टी डाली जाती है और उसमें मीठा आलू जैसे कंद लगाए जाते हैं। इस कटोरी को आधे कटे टीन के डिब्बे पर रखा जाता है, जिससे कि ज़्यादा पानी डिब्बे में गिरे जो बाद में इस्तेमाल हो सके। मीठा आलू 3-4 महीनों में बढ़ जाता है और उसी दौरान कटोरी या बोरे में स्थित जैविक पदार्थों की उपजाऊ मिट्टी में तब्दीली हो जाती है। फिर यही मिट्टी मटके में, प्लास्टिक के डिब्बे में या थैलियों में भरकर उसमें अन्य सब्जियां ली जाती हैं। जैविक पदार्थ से बनी उपजाऊ मिट्टी होने के कारण किसी अन्य खाद का इस्तेमाल करने की ज़रूरत नहीं होती। इसमें लगाई गई सब्जियों को पानी की ज़रूरत कम पड़ती है। इसके अलावा संदीप एक बड़े ड्रम में घास फूस तथा पेड़ की डालियां, पत्ते इत्यादि को जमा कर उसमें पानी डाल देते हैं और उस पानी का उपयोग गोमूत्र के साथ बगीचे के लिए किया जाता है। संदीप ज़्यादातर देसी बीजों का इस्तेमाल करते हैं और यह दूसरों को बांटा भी जाता है। इस बगीचे में उन्होंने क्या क्या नहीं उगाया। कद्दू, लोबिया, टमाटर, मिर्च, बैंगन, पत्ता गोभी, फूल गोभी, हल्दी, खीरा, पुदीना, इसके साथ ही एलोवेरा, लेमन ट्री जैसी अनेक औषधि वनस्पति भी यहाँ पे है। घर का सारा जैविक कूड़ा सुखाकर मिट्टी बनाने के लिए इस्तेमाल होता है या फिर पलवार या मल्चिंग की तरह डाला जाता है, और फिर किचन वेस्ट के पानी को 2-3 दिन फर्मेंट करके उसका इस्तेमाल किया जाता है। संदीप ने इधर उधर फेंकी जाने वाली प्लास्टिक की बोतलों का इस तरह इस्तेमाल कर उसमें भी कुछ सब्जियां ली हैं, और यहाँ पे तो खराब हुई पर्स का इस्तेमाल हैंगिंग गार्डन के रूप में किया है। संदीप के परिवार को हफ्ते की 4-5 सब्जियां तो इस बगीचे से मिल ही जाती हैं। यह सज्जा पर सब्जी का बगीचा घर घर में हो, इसलिए संदीप प्रयत्नशील है। इसके लिए वह कार्यशालाएं लेते हैं, मार्गदर्शन करते हैं। सन 2014 में उन्होंने स्थानिक अखबार दिव्य मराठी के साथ जुटकर किचन गार्डन की एक प्रतियोगिता आयोजित की, जिससे कि यह विषय लोगों तक पहुँचे और उन्हें प्रोत्साहन मिले। इसके अलावा कम खर्चे में तथा अपने पास उपलब्ध संसाधनों से सज्जे पर सब्जी कैसे उगाए, इस विषय पर उन्होंने खुद के अनुभवों पर आधारित गच्चीवरची बाग यह मराठी किताब लिखी है।
घरच्या किचन वेस्टचं आपण जर मॅनेजमेंट चांगल्या प्रकारे केलं तर आपण ऑर्गॅनिक चांगलं खाऊ शकतो। आणि दुसरं असं की तुम्ही कितीही दमून थकून आलात या झाडांमध्ये राहिलं की आनंदीच आनंद, म्हणजे त्यातून तुम्हाला आनंदच मिळणार, दुसरं काही त्याच्यातून टेन्शन नाही, काही ट्रेस नाही, काहीच नाही। आणि शहरात आज गरजच आहे, कारण शहरात शेती नाही आहे असं आपण म्हणतोय, परंतु शेतीसाठी प्रचंड मोठमोठी टेरेस आता उपलब्ध आहेत खरं तर हा सगळ्या लोकांनी हा प्रवास म्हणजे ह्या दिशेने जर करायला सुरुवात केली तर तुम्ही घरच्या घरी सुद्धा चांगलं आनंदही मिळेल, भाजीपालाही मिळेल आणि कचऱ्याचं व्यवस्थापन चांगल्या पद्धतीने होऊ शकतं।
So, how was it? Here I want to apologize that this video was not in English, it was in Hindi and some part was in Marathi, but I am sure that by looking at it, those who didn't know Hindi or Marathi also could understand what the terrace farm means and what you can achieve if you follow the due process, right? So now we will begin our today's class, that is terrace farming, and the time is short, but I will give you a framework, idea of a framework about how to start your terrace farm or city farm, and software. This is a hardware part. Framework means a hardware. If you consider of your terrace farm as a computer, then I will install a hardware, but for software part you have to take up future courses, and you have to understand how different techniques works on the terrace farm. So first we will concentrate on hardware. Once the framework is ready, you can put any software. You can put you can use Microsoft, or you can use Apple, or you can use Linux. Any kind of software you can use it in it. But first of all, hardware should be ready. Okay, so now let's begin. I will start my PPT in a second, and then we will look into how to begin your terrace farm. Okay, so let's begin. What do you need for a terrace farming or a terrace farm? If you want to start a farm on a terrace, what do you need? Definitely you need a terrace. If you don't have terrace, then any empty space is okay. Be it a backyard, front yard, balcony or window or anything you can just start. You have seen in that video of Sandeep Chavan from Nasik, anything and everything he used. On the terrace there was a ladder, and on the ladder he kept some bottle and grew some vegetables on it, right? So anything, any empty space is equivalent to your terrace. After the presentation I will show some stuff from my home, that what my terrace is and how I use different things. I will show it to you. Now terrace is an empty space, and then you need containers and pots to plant something in. In Sandeep Chavan's video you have seen that in a leather bag also, unused leather bag, he grew something in it. You need water or irrigation system. This is a very crucial part. Do not start your farm or terrace farm if you don't have access to enough water, right? Because water is the most crucial component. Without moisture you can't grow anything. You need water. And in what medium you will grow your food or your vegetables? Soil, compost and organic mulch. Now please pay attention here. This is a very important point. I will show how to prepare your soil mixture in different slide, but right now I am concentrating on organic mulch. What do you mean by organic mulch? Organic mulch means any of your brown waste finely chopped. That is your organic mulch. And what are the function of mulch? Mulch is like clothes. We human beings all are wearing clothes. So Mother Earth is also a living entity. So the soil is part of Mother Earth, and that is also living entity, because yesterday you learned that in compost and soil there are billions of microbes living in it. So it is a living entity, and we should protect that living entity from harsh climate. Now in India specifically, what are the harsh climates? Too much of the sun and too much of the rain. That is called harsh climate for India. In other countries there are cold climates where you get freezing climate, freezing temperature, right? So organic mulch protects the soil and the compost from harsh climate, harsh rays of sun and too much of rain. It is like a cloth that you allow Mother Earth to wear and be protected from sun and rain. And another function of mulch is that it will get composted over a period of time, and it will feed nutrients to your plant, right? So there are three functions of organic mulch. Number one, it will protect you, not you, but the soil from sun and excessive rains. It will maintain good moisture level into the soil by not letting the trapped moisture to evaporate. And during excessive rain, it will hold the water in itself and release the water when the plant requires. So, if I give you example of a small pot where you go grow your tulsi or your genda flower or something like that, then at least 1 to 2 inch of the upper part should not be soil but should be organic mulch. Now I will give you example of what is organic mulch. You can put sawdust as organic mulch. You can put wood chips as organic mulch. You can put dry grass. Nowadays in India it's a mango season and every household has mango boxes and mango comes in wrapped in dry grass. So you finely chop that grass and use as an organic mulch. Also, after the lockdown is over, you will see in most Indian cities you will find in every street sugarcane juice vendor. So go to him and ask for the leftover of sugarcane, that is sugarcane bagasse. What you do, you just sun dry it for 1 day and take out a very fine part of it, sieve it, properly sieve it. So all the fine parts of that sugarcane bagasse is very effective mulch, right? And sugarcane bagasse has lot of molasses left in it, and that will feed your soil bacteria. So it's a very beneficial organic mulch, and within 6 months it will decompose itself and fed to the soil. So organic mulch, I have explained the concept. Please do not start your farm if you don't have enough mulch. Now I am just shifting the topic to a bigger scale farm. Like if you have a farmhouse or if you have a big backyard or a big front yard and you want to farm like a farmer, then I would advise learn how to grow your soil, because home composting is easy. Every day you have kitchen waste and your garden waste, you compost and you get enough soil for your terrace farm. But on a farm level, you can't farm effectively if you don't grow your own soil. That is all together different topics and we will address that in future courses. Another aspect is you have to grow your own mulch. If you want good production over a period of time, after 3 to 4 years, if you are doing organic farming, then mulch is the key requirement. Okay, now let's move to the point number 6. Some simple garden equipments also will be required, like a garden fork, like hang gloves, etc. etc. So you can Google it and you will get lots of websites who are selling a small bunch of equipments which are not so expensive, so you can buy that. Number 7, seeds and plants, right? So initially you may have to purchase your seeds and plants, but after a few months you will by yourself learn how to save your own seeds and how to make your own plants. You will learn that, no doubt about it. You will definitely learn that. Once you are hooked to terrace gardening, then you don't need anybody. You will learn by your own self. That is, I am 100% sure. Number 8, you will need family cooperation. Otherwise, you can't do farming at your terrace or in your balcony. Family cooperation is must. Everybody in the family should be on the same page. though they might not help you in anything, but they should not oppose you. Make sure that you get all the cooperation you need for starting your terrace farm. Now we move to the next slide. Myths about terrace gardening or terrace farming. Many people raises this question: if we start farming on our terrace, then there will be lots of leakages. So the answer is that if your terrace or balcony is already leaking or already have leakage problem, then terrace farming will not worsen that. The situation will not be converted into bad. Leakage will remain the same whether you start your terrace farming or not, but the leakage will be the same. So don't worry about it. If the leakage is there, you repair it and then start your farm. And due to terrace farming, there is no case there it will start leaking. Your terrace floor will start leaking. There is no case so far. So don't worry about that. And I will address how to take up that challenge in a different slide. But now be assured that it is myth that if you start farming on terrace or any floor, any concrete floor, then that will give you a leakage problem. That is not the case. In fact, when you grow a green cover on your terrace, probably the terrace concrete and waterproofing which you have done earlier will last longer. I will tell you why. Because any concrete and any cement and concrete flooring is susceptible to wide range of temperature change. If you have 20-degree climate in winter and 40 to 45 degree in summer, so range of temperature is very wide, and that range affects the binding capacity of cement and concrete, and that will break in due course, and again you have to repair that. But if you grow a green cover on your terrace, then the microclimate that is established on your terrace will reduce the temperature range. If you go to any garden and you just sneak inside a plant grew, then you will feel at least 2 degree difference in temperature, outside temperature and inside temperature. So same microclimate will be created on your terrace, so the temperature range will be less and your cement concrete floor will be susceptible to less damage compared to it's a barren and all the sun rays are falling on it. So that is the case. Another myth is that structural damage due to weight. Now of course you need to have pots and containers and soil on the terrace, and you grow some big fruit trees on terrace. So it will definitely going to increase the weight of your terrace. But that does not mean that any structural damage will occur on your terrace, because your building is your terrace is a part of a building, and while constructing, the builder has taken due care to put all structural material in place, like beams and columns. So if your structure is already sound, don't worry about it, it will not get damaged. Yes, one condition is that if your structural architect says that you don't put much weight on this, then you should not. You take advice of your structural architect and go ahead. Next slide. Let's begin. Now you understood the little framework, and now we will start actual terrace farming. How to construct your terrace garden. The main frame of the city farming. Select the area. Now many people just randomly put pots and containers on terrace, and when the plants grow there are many difficulties. You can't walk inside, and it's difficult to get watering some plant, because some other plants are in between, some other big pots are in between. So select the area and design it perfectly. In advance only you should know where you will put your, what kind of container, what kind of pot, what kind of drum, and what kind of plants are going where. Also, please take care that sunlight is a very important factor in terrace farming. Most vegetables and small fruit trees need good amount of sunlight every single day, except monsoon, because you don't have sun in monsoon season, but we have lots of moisture and water. So select the area and mark the area with anything. You can mark with your whatever stuff, paint or whatever, and try to create a symbolic design where you will put your pots and containers. Like I find a swastik design or Om design, the word Om, it is very useful. It will attract a lot of cosmic energy. So you can find out, you can open geometric books and you choose your design and go choose couple of design and select from it, and then make it on paper, and then do proper measuring. This pot is of this length and I will put 3 to 4 pots in this much area, and I will do this stuff. And remember one thing, that after 3 to 4 months your pots will grow so much plants, and the canopy of the plant will overlap each other. So that thing you have to be ready in advance. Otherwise you may have to shift your containers and pots to some other area. So that should be kept in mind. Now many people fear that waterproofing, again the same point, but nowadays many commercial waterproofing sheets and carpets are available. If your pocket permits, you want to willing to do some expense, then you can go for it, not a problem. Arrange suitable containers. Again, what kind of container? Pots, that is earthen pots, plastic pots, plastic crates, and drums, metal drums. Nowadays you get lot of metal drums in scraps. So if I will recommend that if you want to grow any fruit trees, small fruit trees like lemon or maybe chiku or something like that, you can grow sitafal, you can grow custard apple. So you can grow it onto metal drums, and you don't need a base to it. If you purchase a metal drum, cut the base and make the drum into 2 parts, right? And both the parts you can use. You can just directly put the drum without base on your waterproofing sheet, or even without waterproofing sheet, just on the concrete floor you can put, and then proceed further. And how to proceed, I will show you to the next slide, how to mix your soil and what ingredients goes into the pot or a container or a drum. That I will show you in the next slide, but this is just a infrastructure setting, so I am talking about all kind of containers. Point number 5, make drainage holes at the base if you don't have already. So I explained that drums, big drums where you are going to grow your fruit trees, don't need any base, so don't need any holes. But pots and other containers, small containers, plastic containers, you need to make drainage holes at the base, because otherwise water will not go out. It will choke your soil, compact your soil, and the root will get choked up and the plant will die. Point number 6, fill half of it with organic material or some stones. Now we begin the process of planting, but before that we have already arranged containers and drums and other stuff which can hold soil in a proper designed way. Okay, so now you need to fill with the soil, but before that, what will be the base material? What will go into the base? That you fill half of it with organic material. You don't require so much soil. You have seen it in Sandeep Chauhan video, that at the base he has just taken a bamboo basket, wrapped in a cloth, and almost half the basket he filled it with coconut leaves and coconut fibers and all that stuff, and only a little soil was required. So that was also not soil, pure compost was there, and even that was not finely sieved. It was just mixed kind of big chunk of compost was there, and he grew some plant in it and it grew. So you don't require much soil. Now what kind of material goes in the base? That you will be covering 50% of your container. So again, I have spoken about nariyal, that is coconut fiber, coconut leaves also can go. Sugar cane, bagasse again is the ideal source of base material. You can put even grass, that all mango comes with the mango, that you can put. But grass, dry grass takes a little longer to decompose. So if you have other choices, then avoid dry grass to be put in the base. Otherwise, if you don't have any choice, then you can put. But otherwise, and wood chips also can go in the base. And some stones, if you have access to much of stones, if you have construction going on in your society and they remove some stones from the base of your garden or somewhere in a walking area, then that stone also can go work well. But again, that will increase the weight of your terrace or your balcony. So it's your choice. If you have a lobby on a ground floor and you put stones at the base, then there is no problem. That can go as a base material. Now after you prepare your pot with the base material, you need to put some soil mix on it. Right? And I will explain in the next slide what can be the soil mix. But after you put your soil, you need some seeds or plant a sapling into it. Yeah, that's very simple. That also I will explain how to do that. And the last but not the least is that you need to water it. Now what kind of irrigation strategy you should adopt, that I will explain it later. But after irrigating, what you have to do is just take a chair, sit back and relax, enjoy your terrace garden, observe each and every plant every day and just be witness of their growth. Right? It is a very relaxing and stress busting free time or activity. You don't do anything, just sit back and relax, have a cup of tea or organic tea and just relax. Okay? So your farm is ready, but some fine tuning I will explain. In earlier slide I explained that you make a design, you arrange for this kind of containers and all that stuff, and you mix the soil, you mix the base material, you plant the seed, and you sow some, you plant some saplings and sow some seed, water, relax, your garden is growing very well. But no, wait, don't rush. Start very slowly. If you want to be sustainable, if you want to do this terrace gardening for rest of your life, then don't rush into it. I am telling you with folded hand, don't be over enthusiastic, don't rush. Start slowly with easy to grow herbs and greens. Right? Start slowly means you make a design on paper, you keep your plan ready, maybe on computer, you take measurement, you arrange for container, but don't plant everything in one day and start irrigating every day or that kind of stuff. Plant slowly, 1, 2 or 3 pots to begin with, and that also not complicated thing. I want to grow mulberry tree, I want to grow maybe some jamun tree on terrace. How about a coconut tree on terrace? Yes, you can grow coconut tree on terrace without any waterproofing, without any drum, just on the floor of the terrace. Make a 2 brick container, make a boundary with 2 bricks joined together, and just put some soil, put coconut sapling, and it will grow. but that is most advanced level. I have seen that on one terrace. They are growing coconut trees. Coconut trees already is there on terrace, and coconuts are growing on the terrace. Mangoes are growing, jamun are growing. You name the fruit tree and they have it on their terrace. So, and what is the amount of soil they require? Only this much, maybe a foot or less than a foot soil. So that is much advanced level. But start slowly. Grow easy to grow herbs and greens. There are lots of YouTube videos are available how to grow your greens and herbs. It is very easy. Watch them, copy them, do it. Add some pots and containers every week. Okay, if you want to have a full-fledged terrace farm, then it should be in stages, not at one go. So every week you can add 2 or 3 containers or pots, and once you get confident, see the most crucial part is to gain a confidence. For many of you this might be a new activity. Because of lockdown you are frustrated and you had a liking for growing something. You might have grown something when you were small or when you go to your village. You had some experience, but in Mumbai city or any city you are living in, life is so fast, you had not time or you have not thought of doing it, you are busy with office work, but now it's free time and you are enthusiastic about it and you know that this is the future, lockdown or no lockdown, but life in the big city will be affected. New normal is that little bit slow down, go back to nature, keep up with your health, don't rush anywhere. So this activity will help you in that, but you have to be confident about it. If you fail in 1 or 2 pots, your plants die, then you will feel frustrated. Don't do that. Start with easy to grow herbs and greens and progress slowly. Now, another important thing, if you want to have a full-fledged terrace garden or your balcony garden, make your own nursery with seeds and cuttings, right? Seeds and cuttings is must. So I will show you in some time that how to save your own seeds, and cuttings may be a different subject, but that is a long story. I will cut it short and in next slide. But this is a nursery is must. You can't purchase every time, go out and purchase from nursery. It will be expensive. And if you purchase any plant from nursery, except in the beginning, then you need to take care, because most of the nursery are inorganic. They put lot of chemical stuff that the plant grow fast and the growth looks healthy, and most of you will be making your terrace farm organically, or rather you are constructing your terrace farm organic with all organic stuff. So if you purchase a commercial plant and you replant in your pot in your terrace and you have all organic compost, then it may not give you a desired result. It may not give you a flower, it may not give you a fruit or vegetable, and you will get frustrated. Oh, why it is not happening? So better to cultivate a habit that you will start your own nursery. Again, there are many resources how to start, how to begin. That we will talk it later, or I will share the resources. You can go to the website, you can go to that YouTube video and watch it. So make your own nursery with seeds and cuttings. Number 4, prepare your own compost that we talked yesterday. But I have not spoken about make your own organic fertilizer. Now once your garden and pots are ready, you need to top up the soil with organic fertilizer every probably 10 to 15 days. So you need to prepare yourself. You can buy commercial one. There are many organic options also available. But I would prefer that in longer run, if you want to sustain, then you have to prepare your own organic fertilizer. And I will talk to you how to do that in a few minutes. Now, ideal soil mix. Your pots are ready, container ready, base material ready. You want to put a medium into it that can grow your plant. So there are 4 ingredients. Number one is garden soil or red soil. You can purchase initially from the market, or if you have a society garden, housing society garden, you can just dig it if they allow you. Then red soil you want a little bit, or garden soil, that is an optional. Again I am telling you, Mr. Chauhan, you have seen in video from Nasik, he has not used any kind of garden soil or red soil, right? He has only used his homemade compost. So the garden soil or red soil is an optional material. Number two is good quality compost. We learned yesterday how to make your own compost. So that is a part of your ideal soil mix. Number three, very important and the must ingredient for the beginners. I am not saying that you will require coco peat after you become expert. You will not require it. But for the beginners, if you want good results, you need to have coco peat. Right? Yesterday I explained what is coco peat, so now no need for repetition. Good quality compost and coco peat. And the fourth material is handful of perlite. Perlite is a material, it is like a glass like material, and it's been acquired from molten lava. Due to some chemical changes in it for environmental effect or climatic effect on molten lava, it changes its chemical composition to silica like substance. It's a big thick chunk of silica like substance, and they make perlite balls. It is like a small balls like substance in the factory, and it's a purely non harmful material. And handful, like a salt in khichdi, yeah, like salt in khichdi. Your composted coco peat is a base material for your good garden soil or good soil where you are going to plant something, and you add some perlite as a salt material. And what are the functions of perlite? It will create a lot of space between the two molecules of the soil, so that air and water can easily pass away. It will be able to remove excess water from your soil or the pot. So it's a very good element. Again, it is an optional, it is an expensive material, it is available on many websites. You can try once and see how the result is there. But here two main ingredients of soil is that good quality compost and coco peat. You mix it. Now the ratio, what ratio you should mix it? Ideally 1:1. After you put your cocoa brick into the water, it will expand 5 times. You take by volume, 1 volume of compost, 1 volume of coco peat. You mix it properly, and that will sit on your base of the pot or the container, and that is a good quality for the beginners. You can have that compost and coco peat. Now the fertilizers. How to fertilize your plant? You have already sowed your seed, you have already planted your saplings, and every 10 to 15 days you need some or the other organic fertilizer to rejuvenate or to give more nutrition to your plant. So the effective way, if you don't want to irrigate with water, so what is the best fertilizer? Now washed water from rice. Every day you cook your dal rice and you wash them. So that is a leftover water you can use in irrigation. You can directly put into your soil where the plants are growing or seeds are being grown. So that is very effective. Now many people may have questions, right? That we don't have organic rice or we don't have organic dal. We don't know the source, and they are polished in a factory. They might contain some chemical trait in it. and if we use that water into our soil, then it may not be completely organic. But dear friends, don't worry about it, just use it. It is effective in my experience, and definitely it will be effective, it will be beneficial. Don't worry about chemicals you are unknowingly putting in your soil, because if your compost process is perfect, then your microbes can take that much amount of chemical. I am not advising you to purchase some chemical fertilizer from the market and put it into your soil, but unknowingly, if you put some chemical, it's all right. Don't regret. Use it. And someone had asked a question yesterday that can we put buttermilk instead of cow urine on the compost? The answer is yes. From the third batch, you can use it. You should dilute the buttermilk and use it. But now buttermilk is also an extraordinary fertilizer. So you can use it every 15 days. Dilute it. Number one is, remember to dilute it and then use into your irrigation system or whatever you irrigating your plants. You can use buttermilk. Definitely you can use it. Now, for a little advanced learner, those who are already growing some of the other plants on their terrace or on their balcony, and they are in need of a good liquid fertilizer, then make Amrit Jal. It is highly recommended and most effective liquid fertilizer I have come across in last 10 years. I am using it, very good result. On the farm level also we are using it. Big 5-acre farm, we are irrigating it every 15 day on every crop with Amrit Jal. You Google it Amrit Jal and you will know the history, who invented it, who modified it, who practiced it, and who propagated it. Like, you will get everything Amrit Jal. It is a part of Nature Eco farming system, which is completely organic system of farming. And I did my first course on agriculture with a group called Urban Leaves, and they taught me the Nature Eco farming method. Many videos are available. You can watch on YouTube and proceed. So I will explain how to make it at home. 1 liter of water, because your terrace garden is small, you don't require much Amrit Jal, but this is the ratio. I am giving you the proportion. You can increase or decrease as per your requirement. The ratio, ingredient should be same, but the ratio may get multiplied or divided as per your requirement. 1 liter of water, 100 milliliter of urine, that is 1/10 of the water content. That should be a cow urine. And again, if you want to be 100% effective, then use Indian breed cow's urine, not the Jersey or Western breed cow. Compared to Jersey or Western breed cow, you can use our buffalo urine or our sheep urine or camel urine or elephant urine, anything. They will give you 70% as compared to Deshi Indian breed cow's urine. So that 100 milliliter cow urine, then 100 grams of fresh cow dung. Important point here is fresh cow dung, not the older one, not the manure, not the dried cow dung. You need fresh cow dung. Maybe 1 or 2 day old is okay, but not less than that or not more than that, right? You need fresh cow dung because there are lots of microbes in it, in cow dung. You need the fresh cow dung. Then 5 grams of organic jaggery, that is black jaggery, without any chemical. Now earlier I told you don't worry about chemicals, use it unknowingly, but here I am specifying that if you have chemical jaggery, please do not use it. Options are there. Options are there. You can use sugarcane juice instead. Though the sugarcane you are not sure whether they are chemically grown or organically grown, but sugarcane juice you can use instead of organic jaggery if you don't have. But nowadays most stores have organic jaggery, so here we require only 5 grams. So you can anyway source from anybody. That should not be a problem. So these 4 ingredients mixed together in a container and keep it for 3 days. Again, not in the sunlight, in a shaded place, and cover. Don't do air tightening. Don't put a lid that is not allowing any air. If you have a lid that is holes in it, you can cover it with that. Or if you don't have lid with the holes, then just cover it with a plain cotton cloth. Okay, and while the mixture is sitting ideal for 3 days, you need to do one activity twice a day. Just open the lid of the cloth, have a stick like structure, stick or anything like that, and stir it. Again, I don't know the science behind it, I don't know the logic behind it, but they say Nature Eco Farming System says that stir it 12 times clockwise. Once the movement of the water or the mixture stops, then do it 12 times anti-clockwise. This activity should be performed for 3 days, in the morning one time and in the evening second time. So 6 times you have to stir it clockwise and 6 times you have to stir it anti-clockwise. Remember this. Now after 3 days, the 4th day arrives, and on the 4th day the microbial activity in the mixture is at the peak level. Right? It's at the peak level. And if you dilute this mixture in 10 times of the water, then you can use it as a growth promoter to your soil. You can use it on your compost pile instead of cow urine or instead of your water content. You can sprinkle this Amrit Jal. It is an excellent compost fastener mixture or the liquid. You can have it. Now you can use it as a good liquid fertilizer for your plant, and it's like a, what I call in medical terms, you have glucose. You are feeling low in energy, or your plant is feeling low in energy, leaves are bent and no, it seems that it will die. But if you use Amrit Jal every 10 or 15 days to that plant, it will mostly survive, and those healthy plants will grow more vigorously. And another use of Amrit Jal is that you can sieve it, because lot of cow dung content is there, so you can sieve it and then you can sprinkle it or spray it on the plants leaves as a pesticide. I am not so keen to use the word pesticide, but a pest deterrent. It will not kill the pest. It is no harm. If you don't want to do violence on the pest, it will not kill the pest. But once you spray it for days together, pest will not attack the plant for sure. That is my experience. So use this, write it down and Google search it. There are lots of videos on how to make Amrit Jal. You write it properly, and definitely you should use it on your soil, on your compost heap, as a fertilizer and as a pest deterrent. 4 functions of Amrit Jal. And again I want to repeat that 4th day is the best to use, but if you can't use the all, then 5th and 6th day is also okay. But after that, the microbial activity drops down heavily and the mixture is not much of the use, right? But don't throw it away. Anyway, you are going to irrigate your plants, so maybe on 10th day or 15th day also you can use. No harm in it, but there is not much benefit. Okay. Now the component cow dung gives microbes. Again, I explained yesterday also. Today also I am explaining. Cow dung will give you microbes. Jaggery for fermentation, and if the fermented liquid is there, microbes can reproduce themselves and multiply themselves. So that is fermentation is needed. And cow urine is for minerals and salts. Now remember this, our plants doesn't only require nutrition, right, but they also require minerals and salts to grow. Now modern science says that around, modern agriculture says that you need around 256 or some number of element to grow your plant, right? But actually speaking, we don't know how much element we need, so we just do trial and error method. And most organic methods, like I'll speak about very briefly, I'll speak about this natural eco farming. Then there is zero budget natural farming. Now they will change the name, zero budget spiritual farming of Subhash Palekar ji. Excellent method. Go to YouTube, watch the videos and replicate and copy to your terrace garden also. No harm. It is very beneficial. Zero budget natural farming. I do it on my farm, and we have got excellent results of zero budget natural farming. You watch their method. And another method is that of Bhaskar Save. Bhaskar Save he is no more now. He expired 4 years ago, but he is considered to be a Bhishma Pitamaha of organic farming in India. He has a farm in Umargaon, Gujarat, and I have been there a couple of times. It's an excellent farm without any outside input. It's a self-sustainable farm. You just have to do 2 activities on their farm. Sow the seeds, and when harvest time comes, go and harvest the product. That's all. His farm has billions and trillions of earthworms, and his topsoil is probably 4 feet or 3 feet of topsoil he has. Anything you put seed in, it will grow. No need to fertilize, no need to do anything. So he is a proponent of a natural way of farming, that is no-till farming. It takes time to build on that kind of farm, but very effective method. So you can apply that also to it. So I have spoken about 3: natural eco farming, Subhash Palekar's zero budget natural farming, and third one is Bhaskar Save's natural way of farming. All 3 YouTube videos are available. Please watch them and go after it, right? Okay, now this was the fertilizers part. I am sure there will be many questions, then I will answer on the chat later, because fertilizers, you will have your own experiences. You might have made some of your homely fertilizers, and you want to ask me what are the effectiveness or anything to add or less. You can put your questions in the chat section. Now we come to the seeds part, right? So except tiny seeds that I will show it to you. Can you see it? Okay, I'll finish this off, and after that I will show it to you. This is my seed box. I save seed like this. I will show it to you once the slide is finished, so that you can properly concentrate. Except tiny seeds. Tiny seeds means seeds of the size of a tulsi or basil. That is called tiny seeds. Most seeds should be soaked in water for a couple of hours. Before sowing it into the soil, you should soak it couple of hours. Excuse me. Yeah. Couple of hours you soak it into water, and you will observe something. That some seeds are floating on the water surface, and some seeds directly sinks in. Excuse me. Yeah. Sorry for that. Some seeds will go directly at the bottom. So those seeds which are floating on the surface, excuse me, sorry for that again, on the surface, they may not germinate. They have some inbuilt fault in them, or maybe genetic difficulties. So they chances of them being coming into germination is very less compared to the seeds that are at the bottom of the water. But don't worry about it. Right now we concentrate that you just have to soak the big seeds in the water and then sun dry them before sowing it into the pots or nursery beds. Right? You have to make them dry. Now how to dry? You have a paper towel or a paper napkin, put all the wet seeds on it, put in a plate, put outside the window, and maybe in couple of hours it will all be clear of moisture. Then you can store it also. Then I will show you how to store your seeds after the slide is over. Then you can store it for maybe 1 year. There are many methods in India or any traditional farming system. There are many methods of sowing seeds. I have seen in a farmer's house that when they plaster their wall with cow dung and some soil mixture, they put some seeds inside. All the seeds they put inside and they plaster it. Now the trick is when the next monsoon arrives and the time to rebuild the plaster, they take out all the plaster which has the seeds and they spread on the farm and then start the new plastering. So the old seed, the idea is that fungus should not attack the seeds which you have saved, otherwise it will be of no use. So of course in cities you can't save it like that in cow dung. You can if you want, but I will not recommend that. Everyone has some kind of gobar dhoop or cow dung dhoop at house, and definitely you will have some ash after the dhoop is burned. So that ash is also very effective in protecting the seeds from fungus and moisture. So you can just, I will show it to you, but the ash is very effective. Now number second, seeds that sink in water, already explained. Now how you will, you have the seeds ready, soaked, sun dried, and now you are ready to sow in the container or maybe a nursery bag. Then how to sow it? Suppose in simple words, the length of the hole you will make in the soil for sowing the seed should be approximately double the size of the seed. If the seed is of the length of maybe 1 inch, then you should go dig deep 2 inch and sow the seed, cover it with soil and water it, and then it will most likely that the seed will germinate. It will convert itself into small saplings. If you water it properly, then if you fertilize it properly, then it will convert it into a plant that you can replant anywhere in the new container. So one more thing here I would like to add that do not sow seeds in very big container unless you are growing some mango or anything like that, big fruit trees, right? Make a nursery in small bags or small containers, and once they are established, replant them in a big container. Otherwise what will happen, that you need to irrigate it very often, because the soil volume is larger than compared to the seeds. So soil all the time needs to be moist, right? Now save your own seeds. I will explain. I will show it to you in a minute after the slide is over. Now irrigation part, I want to take it. plant and soil needs moisture, not water. Mr. Bhaskar Save of Natural Farming has said this repetitively, so he is like Mahatma Gandhi of organic farming, or Bhishma Pitama, with 45 years of experience. So we should take his advice, we should take his suggestion as it is, right? I explained to you yesterday that compost need moisture, not water. Here same thing, plant and soil need moisture, not water. Water the plant when they need it. We drink water when we feel thirsty. So plants also feel thirsty, but at present you will not realize, or you will not be able to make out for the beginners that when the plant needs water. So water it every 24 hours, right? And how to water it? Again, it needs moisture but not water. So irrigate with jar which has small holes inside, and or probably a plastic bottle whose leads are pinned with have small holes. You can just put pin inside and make some small holes, put water inside and just spray it on your soil. Now timings, I have said that plants need, all the garden plants and all the plants on the terrace or in the lobby or the balcony needs moisture one time in 24 hours, but the timing should be avoid watering in very harsh sun. Don't water at 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon when the sun is very high. And the why? Type it down. Why? I will pause for 1 minute, or not 1 minute, a few seconds, and I want to hear from all of you why to avoid watering during harsh sun. One reason I will explain in the side that, okay, let me check what are you writing. Okay, if you water during the harsh sun, then it will evaporate quickly and you need to water it again in the evening or in the night. So avoid during harsh sun. Water the plant during sunset or sunrise. That is the ideal situation. Okay. Now, if you do in harsh sun, then the water might be a little warmer. If you are using a tap water or a tank water, then due to sun's effect, it will be a little on the warmer side. And if you put that in your soil, then the sensitive roots of the plants may get damaged. Okay, so avoid that. Now, if you are not sure, now most of the city gardeners I have seen, and even I have had faced the same problem, that plants do die without any trace of the reasons. There is no pest, soil is perfect, but still sunlight is good, but my plants die. For I am fertilizing it, I am making my own pesticides or pest deterrent solution, I spray it on it, still plants die. Why? The only reason is that either they are deprived of moisture, required moisture, or we are watering it excessively. Okay? Only these two reasons are there. If you are not sure, or when the days pass, when you are into gardening, and when you have some experience, then automatically by your instinct and by your observation you will know when the plants need water and how much quantity to water, you will know it. So I don't need to explain it right now, because once you are into it, once you jump into water, you will know how to swim. Anyhow you will come to the shore back. No theory will help. So by observation and by experiment you can know that. But for the beginners, I will highly recommend that if you are not sure, then don't water. Just put some ice cubes around the plants and observe. come back after 4 hours. Just dip your finger in the soil. See if it is moist or damp. If it is dry, again put some ice. So this is a very effective method. I have used it n number of times and it works fantastic. And again, for terrace farming, those who fear leakages, not from the concrete floor but from the pots itself, and they are fear all dirty soil will come down and all dirty thing will gather on the floor and probably mosquitoes will come or that kind of stuff. I need to clean it every day. So you can water your or irrigate your plants with ice cubes. No worries. Again, someone might ask that you are avoiding watering with warm water, but now you are avoiding with the ice, watering with the ice. So that is contradictory. But in my experience, in India especially, we have so much heat. Ice will melt very quickly, and it will the plant will get water with like a drip irrigation system. Okay, so there are many things on irrigation part, but time is less. There are many techniques about self-watering bottles, self-watering canes, and you get on Facebook and YouTube many ideas and many hacks how to water your plants. That is a future part. Okay. Now last but not the least, don't worry, I have some other slide to show. I have promised you that I will share some resources. So after this slide, I will show you some great resources. But here a few things. Don't fear of failures. Your plant will die, your seeds will not germinate, there will be bugs on your plant, many challenges. Like in life, you have many challenges. You lose the job in lockdown, your salary is cut. So many obstacles will come, but do not fear. Don't run away from experiment. Please. The founder of Nature Eco Farming, Mr. Dabholkar, who was a great scientist, when he used to visit farmers and city farmers or urban groups who are into city farming, and people used to ask him many questions. His 80% of case, his answer would be like this: Karun Baga, do it yourself and see it yourself. So don't worry, just do it. Throw the seeds in the pot, water it, see what happens. Who comes to eat the seeds? How the seeds germinates, in how many days germinates. You just observe and experiment. This is the key to successful urban gardener, right? And another thing, research. Lots of materials are available. Don't shy away from taking guidance of those who are already successful, right? Research. It will keep you motivated. It will save you from frustration of not growing anything as per your dream or expectation. So continuous research is must. So I promise that I will show you some resource, but before that I want to show you something. My own terrace garden. I don't have terrace, but I have a terrace garden that I will show it to you. A glimpse or a trailer of my terrace garden. This is my terrace garden. You see? Can you see it? It's a Redmi mobile cover, and I have used it as a medium to grow something in it. Now see, this is a black. Yesterday I spoke you what the finished compost look like. Pure black gold. I converted my mango peel and other vegetable leftovers in pure black gold. So this is pure black gold, and see if I can show it to you. I have made some holes with the pin, yeah, in the box, so the excess water can come out. I have put some compost. I didn't had coco peat because of the lockdown and it was not available. So I just used pure compost, no garden soil, no perlite, nothing. And I had some seeds of okra, that is bhendi. I just planted here and see, now already sprouted. Maybe this is 10 days old and I will show it to you. Now see the fun. This part all looks good, other part not doing so good. So now how will I replant them? How will I replant? See, okra is a very sensitive plant, like okra and tomato are very sensitive plant. If I try to replant it, the chances that they will die. So I have to make this container big. How do I make it? See, this is what our brown waste. Remember, cardboard, any color. Don't go for the color, but it is my brown waste. And brown waste is liable to decompose over a period of time if you give it a proper medium. So what I will do, I will have a big basket like container with all holes in the base. I will fill it half with grass or sugarcane bagasse or coconut fiber or whatever material I get it, and I will just dip the full container inside and cover it with soil. Now okra plant will grow very big, at least 3 to 4 feet, and the canopy of the leaves will also be very big. So I don't want the competition. I don't want them to compete because I want the vegetable. So I don't want them to grow vertically because otherwise they will compete for sunlight, these plants, and they will grow vertically. I want them to be of limited height, grow horizontally and give me okra, bhendi. So what I will do, I will thin this out. I will keep the best plant, only one single best plant. Others I will cut it with the scissor. Okay. So then my purpose will be served. The box will decompose into a soil and other plants will die off and their dead bodies will give some benefit to the plants which survived. Okay, so this is my small terrace garden that I can at the most show it to you right now. And another thing I will show it to you. Yesterday I spoke of biochar. So this is my biochar. You can see it. Yeah, it's just like coal, but it's not coal. Yeah, it's a part of wood that is not burned. All oil content is gone. Now the remaining part is here. Very good material for your composting and even to your soil mix. If you crush it finely and put in your soil mix, then also it is very good component that you can put it inside. Now I will show you some seeds. This is a plastic container with the lid, airtight container, and I will show some seeds. These are, yes, you are right, this is a muskmelon seeds. See, they are of the medium size, not too big, not too small. So muskmelon seed, we had eaten muskmelon, so all the seeds are out and we dip it into the water for 2 hours, then sun dry it on a paper towel, and now the seeds are ready. So I am just saving it for a future use. Next year on our farm we will have plenty of muskmelon. So you have to save your own seed. Write a date. I had written it here, but it's not visible, so I will make a label and put it. This is a muskmelon seed from the earlier season to be used in the next season. So that's how you save your seeds. If you feel that little bit of moisture is there, put some ash into it and then save it for a year, no problem. Okay. So that was it. Now coming back to the resource. Who are my inspiration? I will show you in the last slide, and you will have lots of material online in a minute. So if you want to be a sustainable gardener, you continuously need. Now remember, I have used sustainable gardener, not a successful gardener, because if you are a sustainable gardener, you are already successful. So you need 5 things. If you want to pursue this career or hobby, you need 5 things. Inspiration and motivation. Without it, you can't do farming. It will be a burden to you and your family. Just close the video, go out. If you don't want to be inspired or getting motivation, right? Number 2, you need to have complete knowledge. It is not possible in a day or not possible in one or the other course. It should be a continuous activity like watering the plants. You should continuously aspire for getting more and more knowledge and information. This is the information age. Be updated with modern organic farming technology, equipment and tricks, right? 4th number is tricks, tips and shortcuts. The world is so fast today, everything needs to have a shortcut. So agriculture also has many shortcuts, tricks and tips and magic also. So you need to know all that. Number 5, you don't want to get bored. So you need fun, you need humor, you need entertainment and some thrilling experience, right? So all 5 I will share. Who can give you these 5 things which will make you a sustainable gardener? Number 1, please welcome my agriculture, permaculture teacher, guru, respectable Mr. Geoff Lawton. He pronounced as Jeff Lawton of Discover Permaculture. You please write down his name and you search him on YouTube and Google. You will have every information about this gentleman. Now what to look for? If you watch his channel, what to look for? Philosophy of farming, agriculture, organic farming and permaculture. Theory, theoretical knowledge, you will know about it. You will know the basics A, B, C, D of farming. Techniques, he is master of various techniques and his techniques are pretty simple. You can replicate them on your terrace farm. I have his hundreds of videos which are not there on YouTube or not there on his website, and I am watching him daily. Yeah, I am interacting with him and his assistant, his team every day on Facebook. We are closely connected. So Jeff Lawton is a renowned permaculture consultant, designer and teacher, and he did his permaculture design certificate course in 1983 with the founder of permaculture, Mr. Bill Mollison, a big name in organic farming all over the world. and Mr. Jeff's projects are spread throughout the world or earth. 6 continents, close to 50 countries. Jeff Lawton's projects are there, and we also have a dream to invite him to India and Govardhan Eco Village. If you are good wishes are there with us, then we will definitely invite him to India. And his website, please note, permaculturenews.org. Many other websites are there. You just search him on Google. Now my number 2 inspiration, again from Australia. This is a team of experts who are employed by a TV channel called ABC. Australian Broadcasting Corporation has a TV channel, and part of a TV channel is Gardening Australia channel. Recently they have come on YouTube platform also, and fantastic TV channel. Every week they have a new program, probably 7 to 8, 5 to 7 minute videos where they show different techniques of gardening, farming, city farming, terrace farming, making your own compost, designing your garden. You name the technique and they have it. You go to their website, you search any of the keyword of gardening, and you will have hundreds of videos. In 2017, I watched one of their videos which belonged to 2009, and it was about growing potatoes without watering it, and I did it, the experiment, in one of my project in Nalasopara, Mumbai, and it was successful. We grew potato organically without any water. The method was successful. So I have seen their videos practically since 2009. All the videos I have seen, and I am again repeatedly watching them, and every week whenever their website is updated, I just make it a point to take out time and watch them. Techniques, inspiration and entertainment. It is a very good source of entertainment. Okay, you make my word. After the program is, our lecture is over, go to YouTube or go to their channel, watch one episode, right? Number 3, self-sufficient me. This Mr. Mark Valencia, again from Australia. He is a very good organic farmer. He has a backyard and front yard, grows anything and everything on his little space, and he has hundreds of tricks, techniques and shortcuts, and his videos are to the point. You don't feel bored or you don't feel out of place when you watching him. He makes thrilling videos. You get lot of thrill, and he explains point by point. Very much recommended, this self-sufficient me. Please do watch him. And what is his philosophy? Please read the 4th or the last paragraph. He says, we try to look and see the earth through her eyes. What a sentence, what a philosophy. Yeah? Up till now, we were looking at the earth, Mother Earth or the farm as from our eyes. We want to extract something from her. But these guys, he is also a permaculturist like me. He says we have to give back to the earth. So you watch this video. Okay. Number 4 from USA, Mr. Justin Rhodes. amazing guy. He is my god brother in farming because he also learned under Mr. Jeff Lawton. He was senior to me, a couple of years or maybe 3 years senior to me. But he has taken permaculture to the next level. In North Carolina, he has 75 acres of ancestral land, and he has converted the land into permaculture heaven. You see his techniques, the way of making films, agricultural technical films into a solid source of entertainment and thrill. It is like a reality show. Every day he updates or uploads 1 or 2 video showing the earlier day of activity on his farm, and he has sourced every animal, every equipment, every thing you need to have a good permaculture farm. And he has, after finishing his permaculture course in Australia with Mr. Jeff Lawton, he purchased a bus in USA, a run-down bus. He took his 4 kids. You can see in the picture, he has 4 kids and 1 wife. All 6 people got down on the bus, sat in the bus. He and his wife drove throughout 50 states of America in 365 days. He covered 100 plus organic farmers, not only organic farmers, best organic farmers and best organic practices throughout America, and he captured them on film, edited it and put on the YouTube. He is a celebrity farmer, on probably #1 farmer on YouTube, most watched, amazing guy. Do watch him. Now, many of you might ask a question that okay, we will do terrace gardening, backyard gardening, organic gardening or farm gardening, but where are the money? We don't just want to take up farming as a hobby, we want to earn something out of it. And if you own a very small backyard or small space, less than an acre or less than half an acre, or maybe a 10 gunta, 1/10 of an acre, and you want to earn money out of it, Mr. Curtis Stone from Canada will teach you. He has hundreds of free videos, tricks and business tips. He is an urban farmer living in Canada, some small city. The name is written here on the slide. British Columbia, the state name. And he had no experience of farming. One day he thought, what I am doing, a city job, a corporate job, I don't want to do it. I just want to devote my time in something useful. He come across some books and some teachers, and he started to farm in his backyard. And whatever he grew, he used to sell in a farmer's market. In Western countries, every week they have a farmer's market where you book a stall, you come with your stuff and you sell it, and people buy it. So he got a little profit in that. Then he thought, without owning the land, how can I do farming? And in Western countries, everybody has backyards and front yards, and it's all green lawns, not to be used except for party or something like that. So he rented out. He rented some of his neighbors' property, backyard and front yard. He said to them, I will not pay you anything, but whatever I will grow on your farm, I will give some for your requirement, and other I will sell it to the farmers market, and that way you are relieved from maintaining your loan, which is very expensive, and I will convert your land into a fertile garden, very good looking garden, and everybody accepted that. So he rented 3 to 4 properties, and he is a YouTube celebrity now, running many online courses, and he is a millionaire. Okay, so tricks and business tips you learn from Mr. Curtis Stone. So now the slides are over, and I will finish this seminar by a few announcements. Just I want to remove this slide. Be patient, in a second I will be back. So you might be wondering why I have not mentioned any Indian channel, good channel for farming, because simple reason, they don't exist, right? So they were my inspiration, all 5. There are more people, but I can't share it to you right now. The time is, we are over time now probably. So I will finish this lecture, and I am feeling very grateful and thankful to all of you. You have given your valuable time to listening to me. Though my English, again, please forgive me if my pronunciation and faulty English grammar may have troubled you to understand something, but I can't help it right now. So I am just apologizing to you, and I am again thankful to Govardhan Eco Village for giving me this platform to address all of you wonderful people. I am again feeling very thankful to my son Dhruv, and who has arranged this software and all that, and to broadcast this video. Also team GEV, who are in the back front and organizing this event. The one announcement is that you might have many questions, and probably most of you have written in the chat section. I will be answering them soon, and we want to take this talk to a further level. So if you are all keen, we can do an online permaculture introduction course. I can, and other experts can also join me in addressing you. What is permaculture? How is it useful in day-to-day life and in agriculture and organic farming? That we can teach in maybe 2 days seminar, introduction to permaculture. Also, if you have farm or a terrace farm or some land and you are keen to develop it, then that is Team GEV has many experts that can guide you online, or we can visit you and guide you there after the lockdown is over. So you be connected to GEV. There are many such courses in the pipeline. Whether lockdown or no lockdown, online courses are now new normal. We are going to continue it. So be connected. Again, thank you. Namaste and Hare Krishna.